So guys, I had to make a second video for the day as there was some breaking news that just came out from the Bulls. According to Daniel Greenberg, who just reported this, the Bulls' 2020 second round pick from last season, Marko Simonovic, is signing with the Chicago Bulls as announced by his agent. Now, if you remember, the Bulls selected Simonovic with the 44th overall pick in last year's draft, and the Bulls used him as a draft and stash player, meaning that they would own his draft rights, but he would continue to play overseas before coming over to the NBA, which is quite common, especially for a lot of late second round picks who aren't necessarily ready to enter the NBA. Tomas Satoransky was actually another example of a player who was a draft and stash player before coming to the NBA. Even Nikola Jokic, who was drafted in 2014, but he didn't enter the league until the following season. Ricky Rubio, the same type of thing, and a number of other players. A lot of times, players from overseas are either already signed to contracts with their club teams overseas, or they are not ready to come over to the NBA as a result until their contract expires, or there is still development and time needed before they can transition to the NBA game, or even in some cases, a roster spot just isn't available to them at the time that they are drafted. But in any event, after one season continuing to play overseas, and actually for the same league and team that this year's MVP Nikola Jokic played for, Marko Simonovic will be joining the Chicago Bulls for this upcoming season, which is great to hear because he's another promising prospect, another big man that possesses great skills in terms of his outside shooting ability, and for a big man is actually a decent passer as well. He does need to improve his defense and overall isn't the most athletic player, but he is only 21 years old with room to grow and rounding out his skills. He also does need to bulken up a bit as he is very thin for the NBA. He's 6'11", 216 pounds, so he will need to spend some time in the weight room to get a little bigger and stronger to ensure he's not getting bullied in the paint, and that really applies to really both ends of the floor, on offense and on defense. Now, I've said this before in a prior video that I made on Simonovic, but I hear a lot of Bulls fans saying he's going to be the Markkanen replacement because he does a lot of similar things to Lauri, and you could even argue he's a better defender and passer than Lauri is. But at the same time, you have to recognize that Lauri Markkanen, despite having a couple of disappointing seasons, was a lottery pick, a top 50 recruit coming into the league, and is still an established scorer in this league, whereas Simonovic, although young and does have potential, he's not there yet as a player and hasn't even played a single game in the NBA, and more likely in his rookie season, he's probably not going to be seeing a ton of playing time coming off the bench. So I think it's important to manage expectations in that, yes, this is a promising move and a promising prospect who could turn out to be a very great player in this league, but he's not going to be right off the bat just like a better version of Lauri Markkanen. That's just not practical. He could certainly get there, and I really hope that he does, but it's not going to happen right away. I will say, though, I am very excited to see what this kid brings to the Bulls. I think having another big man coming off the bench who can shoot from outside but also play make and be a little more versatile than someone like Markkanen is going to be great for this team. The Bulls already have Vucevic, who is a great outside shooter and passing big man. You add Simonovic off the bench, who can provide similar skills, is great for depth of this team. Now, I do wonder, with the Bulls making this move and taking up a roster spot, what it means for some of the other free agents, specifically as it relates to Markkanen and Daniel Theis, considering they are both going to be free agents, one restricted and the other unrestricted. This could signal that the Bulls aren't fully confident in that they'll either be able to retain Theis or Markkanen, and ultimately will need another big man in Simonovic. And as I've said for some time, I think the writing has been on the wall that Markkanen, more likely than not, will not be in a Bulls uniform next season. However, for Theis, my hope is that he would be able to be a player that they would re-sign on a friendly contract. But of course, the Bulls have to work with the money that they have on the books, because Theis's energy and rim protection is so valued in this league. He's likely going to be getting some pretty big offers that the Bulls may not be able to afford, and have really just decided Simonovic as a backup plan in the event that they're not able to keep Theis. A lot of different scenarios could play out here, but I do think that this is a smart move. Simonovic clearly has the talent and skills to be a solid player off the bench. As I've mentioned before, I just think it's important to manage expectations that he's not going to instantly become an impactful player and a better version of Lauri Markkanen right away in his rookie season, and especially not Nikola Jokic, which I know that only a few people have made those types of comments, but I have seen a lot of Bulls fans likening him to Nikola Jokic just because Jokic was also another project overseas that Arturas drafted when he was with the Nuggets, was also a second-round pick, and because they played on the same team overseas. Like, no, Simonovic is not on Jokic's level as an MVP quality level player. I think it's important to call that out. Anyway, I just wanted to share this late breaking news, as I know a lot of fans have been asking when are the Bulls going to bring in Simonovic, and by all indicators it does look like he'll be joining the team starting next season. My assumption is he'll be on the Bulls in the summer league, just playing alongside Patrick Williams later in August, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in a Bulls uniform this season. And I want to know what you guys think, though, of this late breaking news and your thoughts on Simonovic. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.